Once upon a time, there was a young farmer named Arjun who lived on the edge of a fertile valley. Near his farm, there was a lush, dense forest on the other side of the river, home to many birds. Every year, Arjun worked hard in his fields, planting grains, hoping for a bountiful harvest. But no matter how carefully he tended his crops, the birds would come and peck at his fields, eating his grains before they had a chance to grow. This constant disruption made his harvest much smaller than he had hoped. Frustrated and desperate, Arjun decided to take action. He believed the birds were his only problem. One day, he decided to set a trap. He laid out some grains as bait and set a net in the middle of his field. As expected, the birds came, drawn to the grains, and soon they were trapped in the net. Arjun felt victorious as he collected the trapped birds and carried them far away to a forest, believing that he had finally solved his problem. But as the seasons passed, Arjun noticed something troubling. When harvest time arrived, his crops were being eaten, not by birds, but by insects. The damage was much worse than what the birds had caused. His heart sunk as he realized that the pests were destroying his hard work at an alarming rate. Baffled and upset, Arjun didn't know what to do next. In desperation, he went to an old farmer in the village, a wise man known for his deep understanding of nature's ways. After listening carefully to Arjun's story, the old farmer chuckled softly and said, "You've made a mistake, young one. The birds you chased away were not your enemies. Yes, they ate some of your grains, but they also helped protect your crops from the insects that harm them. By removing the birds, you've upset the delicate balance of nature." Arjun's face turned pale with regret. He hadn't realized that the birds played a crucial role in protecting his crops by feeding on the pests. Though he couldn't bring the birds back, Arjun was determined to make things right. He built small wooden nests and placed them around his fields, hoping that the birds would return. Day by day, he tended to the nests and waited patiently. Months passed, and slowly, the birds began to return. As they settled in the trees around the farm, they resumed their role of controlling the insect population. To Arjun's delight, his crops flourished, and the insects no longer destroyed his fields. His farm was healthier and more balanced than before. From that day on, Arjun learned an important lesson about the balance of nature. He realized that every element in nature, no matter how small, has a role to play in maintaining harmony. By interfering without understanding, he had made things worse, but by listening, learning, and respecting the natural order, he was able to restore the balance and find true success. Life lesson. Just like the farmer, we often face challenges that make us want to take quick actions. Sometimes, we think that one thing, like a single problem, is the cause of all our struggles. But as we saw in Arjun's story, every action has consequences, and what seems like a problem at first may actually be part of a bigger solution. In our own lives, when we encounter obstacles, it's important to pause and reflect. Rather than reacting impulsively or blaming others, we should try to understand the bigger picture. Often, what we see as a challenge is simply a piece of a larger puzzle we may not yet understand. The patience to learn, the wisdom to reflect, and the courage to adapt can help us make decisions that lead to better outcomes. So, when faced with life's difficulties, remember that every challenge has its purpose. Like the insects in the field, problems may seem overwhelming, but they often bring lessons that help us grow. By accepting and learning from our struggles, we become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Just as nature requires balance to thrive, we too need balance in our lives to find true fulfillment.
If you like this, please subscribe, like, and share with others. Your support means a lot to us.